Hey everybody, it's the Boss Lady here, coming to you today. Today is February 21st, 2018, and well, I want to vlog a little bit on my way to work. I'm actually going to move the camera in just a minute. I'm trying to get myself together before I pull off. Today is a somber day for Boss Lady, and I'm trying to get it together. I can't. So I gotta talk it out so I can, get my mind right. 6 years ago today, my father passed away. And, yeah. I talk about my father from time to time on my channel. I know my first Father's Day on the channel, I did a Father's Day dedication to my father, to my dad, and to my husband. And I'm gonna link that video in the description box below. But at any rate, I'm having a rough morning. Actually, I've been having a rough week. That's why you haven't seen any other videos come out besides the Talk About It Tuesday, because I've been having a rough week. But one thing I can say is when I get to feeling like this is the time that I do the most stuff, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I know to other people, they're like, you're doing all of what? The year he passed away, 2012, that was the first year that I did gardening at my house. I mean, like, I had lived in my house since 97. He passed in 2012, and I had never planted flowers outside of, like, in a pot. But I had I went and I landscape, basically. That's what I did. I did some landscaping. And I can honestly tell you, from 2012 to now, I'm trying to open this thing, and I should have did it before I lotioned my hands. Anyway, my yard has not been the same since 2012. That first year, I was mourning so bad that I put all my energy into my yard. Like, as soon as the ground was unfrozen, because we live in Minnesota, so it'd be froze in February. But and that was a mild winter. We had a mild winter in February that year. I'll never forget, because I was terrified in traveling, because we traveled by car to his funeral. So we ended up getting a decent spring early enough, and let me take you off of here. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. But we had a decent spring, and that was the one year that I went all out. Like, money was no object, and I just put it all into my yard. Like, every time I got any kind of money, I just put it into my yard. My at that time, was it a week? It might have been a week before his surgery. Sorry about that. Y'all know I gotta hold the camera now because of my thing. But anyway, I think it was a week before his surgery. I was in a car accident. And I was really bad off. I was in a neck collar, everything. It was bad. My car was messed up. It wasn't totaled though. It was a different Lexus. The Lexus that I got rid of the day that Prince died. Anyway, so, I was in a lot of pain, and I was off work. I was off work for, oh my gosh, I was taking off work kind of right away after the accident, because I just could not function. And so when my father passed, it wasn't like I had to get, time off approved or whatever. They was like, just go ahead and go, you're already off. And so that's how that went. But that was a year, like I said, that I went all out on my yard, just because I was mourning so bad. And That was the only way I knew how to deal with my grief. Now, I wasn't raised with my father per se. My parents divorced when I was 2. So, you know, I didn't get the birthdays every year, vacations every year. My mom does have pictures of like my first trip to Disney World. I was about 7 months old, 6 to 7 months old. And my father was there, of course, because they were still married at the time. But, you know, growing up, I didn't have him like thoroughly in my life, you know, like other kids. So I don't have the same experience as like my little sister. You know, she had my father from birth to death. I didn't have that. So, you know, it's a different type of experience for me. But at any rate, he's still my father, you know. If it wasn't for him and my mom, I wouldn't be here. So, you know, I'm still just kind of like, you know, and everybody deals with their grief in different ways. And, you know, the one thing that, the one thing that I've noticed, now, I will tell you, when a death happens, just as well as a birth or a wedding, you get to know who your true friends are. You get to know who your true family members are. You know, you can share the same blood, but not share the same mindset. So, you know, everybody wants to claim, oh, you know, he was the dearest to me, or he was the dearest to me. No, no, no. You didn't have him like I had him. So, you know, he wasn't dear to you. And I've noticed that throughout the years. Even before Daddy passed, you know, that's how family would react. But he's gone now. So we all have a pain that we feel. You know, my pain may be different, but still I have pain, you know. I'm very grateful that I got the last 6.5 years of his life were good for us, for he and I. We always didn't see eye to eye, you know. Not that I was a rebellious teenager. We just, you know, I was raised in a different house, and, you know, so things were different, you know what I mean? He would be parenting from thousands of miles away, and I'm like, how can you parent if you're not here, so to speak? So, you know, we had some differences. We had some ups. We definitely had a bunch of downs. But I am grateful that, like I said, the last 6 years, we were able, at least, well, the last 6 years of his life for me were very good. You know, it took a minute. It took a minute, you know. We had to, you know, get rid of some hurt. And when I think about that, I think about other family situations. You know, I told you guys my family is operating in a new normal. And so, you know, I think about all that I went through with my father, and how, you know, we weren't seeing eye to eye, and, you know, and I'm grateful. And I'm getting emotional, so y'all gotta forgive me. And I'm driving, so I'm like, I gotta focus, but, you know. But I'm grateful that even with the hurt and the pain that we had, we were able to work past it, you know. There had to be some forgiveness on both sides, you know. And the thing is, kids, regardless if they're adults or not, kids feel like, well, the parents should do all the apologizing. The parents should make things right. Sometimes the kid has to make things right, you know. And I know that firsthand. So when I have to operate in my new normal, in my family, I think that's why I have so much pain and so much hurt. And I used to, excuse me for a minute here. I used to talk to my daddy about my pain and about my hurt. You know, and he would call me just to, whew, hold on, Holy Ghost. He would call me just to talk to me and see how I'm doing, you know, if the pain had lightened up some, you know. And he would ask me questions about my father, about my husband, and, you know, want to know how's he doing and is his pain lightened up, and, you know. And he would always say, I know what he's going through because I've been through it. So my father, in the last 6 years of his life, he was very helpful in the things that we have dealt with in our immediate family here. Even though he was miles away, you know, like I said, I used to think, like, how can you parent? You're so far away. But those last 6 years, he was truly, truly my father. He was truly my parent. He gave me advice for me and for my husband. You know, I always tell people I don't regret the way I got married. You know, we got married just the right way that we wanted to. But I do regret my father not being there. I used to try to figure out how can I get married and I have a dad and a daddy, you know. I can't choose. And I guess fate just kind of chose it for me because I didn't have a big wedding and ceremony. And I mean, well, no, I had a ceremony. I just didn't have the big foo-foo wedding, you know, like my sisters, you know, with bridesmaids and groomsmen and, you know, the whole 9 songs and poems and all that stuff that I don't feel is necessary just to say I do. But anyway, the one thing I do regret is that my father wasn't here. He wasn't here to witness, you know, me saying I do. He wasn't here to witness, you know, me getting my degree. I got my degree. I actually got my degree before he passed away, but, you know, I did pictures, and the pictures weren't done until after he passed. So he didn't get to see me in my cap and gown and all of that stuff. And so, you know, those are the type of things that I think about, like, man, you know, he missed out on that stuff. You know, there's a lot that he won't get to experience with my peanut, you know. I'm glad he got to see her. I'm glad he got to hold her and talk to her briefly, you know. Because she was 5 when he passed. But, you know, I just kind of think about these things, and I don't think people actually think about that type of stuff, especially this new generation. They don't think about the what ifs. They don't think about, okay, this stuff has happened, so, you know, things are over now. You know, they don't think about, well, what's it going to be like if, you know, your mom's not there or your dad's not there or whoever raised you's not there? What is that going to look like to you? You know, how is that going to look, you know, when you have kids, or, you know, your kids grow up without them? And I don't know. So I'm having an emotional time right now. Because I miss my father. I miss those conversations. You know, I miss my holiday calls. I miss, you know, being able to go down there for a weekend. I did get to spend his 60th birthday with him. I had never spent a birthday with my father past 2 years old. So that was huge for me. To be able to go down there and actually be there for his birthday and celebrate with him, that was huge for me. And this younger generation, they don't care. They're just like, I'm living for the moment, I'm living for me. And so yeah, guys, I am on my way to work, as you can tell, because I'm driving. And make sure I got my tag on. I am very emotional, and so I have a meeting in 2 hours, I think. Is it in 2 hours? 10 o'clock? I don't know if it's at 10 o'clock or if it's at 11 o'clock. I don't know. Either way, I'm on my way. It's like 10 after 8 right now, so I'll be down there. But I don't want to be bothered with anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. You know, boss man gave me extra hug, extra kiss today. You know, I woke up super early, like, I'm up, I'm woke, you know. When I got the call, I was asleep. I'll never forget that. My sister called, and, you know, my phones at the time, because we still had a house phone, we had the kind that talk and tell you the name of the person calling. And I kept hearing the last name coming through, and I said, wait a minute. You know, nobody calls me with that last name except for the people in the South. And I jumped up because it was, the phone was on the other side of the room, on boss man's side, not mine. And I'm like, get the phone, you know, it's down south. Please grab the phone. And my sister, and I'm like, when I tell you I was asleep, that's why I don't sleep the way I used to. Because when, and I used to not sleep with my cell phone in my room either. I used to sleep with my cell phone like in the other room, in the living room or kitchen, dining room. It would not be in my room. So, you know, she called my house phone, and my sister's talking to me, and I'm telling you, I was in a dream state. Like, wait a minute, what did she just say? And I, you know, and I'm going, you know how, you know, you get on the phone and you listen, but you're not listening. So I'm going, okay, but I'm still asleep. And then something triggered me to say, wait a minute, sister, what did you just say? And she just starts screaming, and I'm like, oh my God, she's talking about my father. So, you know, and I hung up. She's in where my sister lives compared to where my father lives. It's like a 2-hour drive. So she was getting on the road to get to the hospital. And so I called my niece. Well, I called my mom first. I called my mom crying. And then I called my niece, and I said, you need to call me and tell me what's going on. I don't want my sister to call me because she's on the road, and I don't want her getting into no accident if something transpires that we're not prepared for. And she said, okay, I'll call you back. She called me. The phone rang. I'll never forget. I was getting up, getting Peanut ready for daycare or preschool, whatever. And she called, and I said hello, and you couldn't hear anything. Like, you could hear a pin drop. And I'm like, okay. And I called my niece by name. Oh, people just cut me off. But anyways, I called my niece by name, and she just started crying and told me that he was gone, and I lost it. I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget February 21st. Never forget. Never forget. And for those who are new to the channel, you don't know this, but I have a big, when I say big, I mean big, tattoo on my arm in remembrance of my father. And I didn't mean to get it as big as it is. Every now and then I'm like, dang, I kind of wish it wasn't that big, you know. But I was hurting so bad. I got the tattoo when I came back from the funeral, and I was hurting so bad. I paid $250. Like, money was water. $250 for that tattoo. I'll never forget. And the tattoo artist, you know, he had, you know, nice little studio, and he put on a movie for me, and I'm just watching this movie, and he's giving me the tattoo, and I'm just sitting there just crying. And he's like, ma'am, am I hurting you? And I'm like, no. I said, this pain is nothing compared to the pain that I feel. That's exactly how, you know, I felt at that time. And the funeral was so quick. Like, he passed on the 21st. His funeral was the 25th. So we left on Boss Man's birthday to go down there. His birthday's the 23rd. And I felt so bad. So, of course, you know, we're driving along, whatever. And I'm crying on the road because I'm just like, I cannot believe we are traveling on your birthday. And he was like, what are you talking about? This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm your husband. You know, you were there for me with my mom. I'm supposed to be here for you with your dad. Let's go. Get in the car. Pack the clothes. You know what I mean? It was just, And I try to get all my crying out. I try to get all my, sorry about the sun. I can't even move the camera right. Sorry, y'all. There we go. But I try to get all my crying out, my sadness out, you know. And that's probably why I grieve the week leading up to, because, you know, by the time it's Boss Man's birthday, I don't want to be sad on his birthday. I don't want to be crying on his birthday. I don't want, you know, I mean, I did that 6 years ago. And I think every year since then, I have tried to make up for his birthday. Because I felt so bad, you know. But anyway. I love my daddy, guys. I love my daddy. He used to buy all my baby dolls. You know, when Cabbage Patch first came out, I'll never forget. And I remember, now this is, you know, this is kind of a history lesson. But if you guys who are old enough to know, there's a study, the blue-eyed, brown-eyed study. Well, then they also had one in reference to the dolls, you know, when they give little black girls dolls, you know, the little black girl has a choice, choose black doll or white doll. And most black girls chose the white doll because, you know, because of how society is, you know, black girls didn't like the white dolls. Well, anyway, I'll never forget, Daddy, I want this color Cabbage Patch with yellow hair, pink dress, blah, blah, blah. My daddy said, not a daughter of mine. But mind you, my father's from the South, so I'm trying to watch this traffic. He's from the South, so he's like, no ma'am, you know. And I'll never forget, I got me a chocolate brown Cabbage Patch doll with a yellow dress and brown hair. And she was the most beautiful baby. And I'll never forget her. I still have that doll to this day. She's at my mom's. So, cherish your loved ones, guys. Cherish them, cherish them. Love on your parents. Teach these young people what life is truly about. It's not about Jordans. It's not about making money. It's about family. It's about family. And if your family is operating in a new normal like mine, do your best to deal with it, but keep praying to change it. Love you guys. Bye.